Hello, everybody. This is JD. I got an email from somebody who asked me a question. And I like these questions, and I'm going to do it. And it made me think of a video because I really never done a video on this topic. The question is, how do I feel about the disabled veterans coming back, and these other people who are coming back, and as well as those who are still over there in Afghanistan and throughout the world that are in our military? And my first thing was, why would she ask me this question? Why would she ask me this question? I spent 26 years in the military with my constructive time. That I know what it's like to be deployed. I know the agony. I know the despair. And I feel sorry for the men because though they have better communications with their families back home, how hard it must be to look at your wife, your children, your mother, your father, and these men and women have to say goodbye and then walk outside, pick up their weapon, and go off on patrol. Or say, gotta go real quick and jump into action. Knowing when they say goodbye, they might not. It is very strong possibility they might not come back online. Never mind going home and hugging and giving a kiss. Then I think about stuff I hear about the Veterans Administration and how they don't have enough money. Our country can give money away to other countries throughout the world, and the Veterans Administration don't have enough money. Something doesn't sound right there. So let's get to this video. Our government, federal government, asks you, each and every one of you, to lay down your life, to stop living, to pick up your uniform, go in a foreign country, and fight a war, and possibly get disabled or killed. And these men and women give 110%. They stop their lives completely, some of them, and go off for a couple years, a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it takes. And then, if they're lucky enough, they come back whole as they left. But that's not always the case. Some come back disabled, and others, only their body comes back. Now, where does the federal government feel that they do not owe those individuals 110%? They ask the people of this nation to sacrifice everything for the nation's wars, and yet when they come back, they don't feel they owe the same 110% that was given to them? And you might say, no, you can't give more. No, you can. That extra is over that 100%. The VA administration should never, ever have a problem with money. Now, I'm not saying it shouldn't be scrutinized. Why don't the IRS, Internal Revenue, start doing some internal revenue scrutinizing to ensure that the money is well spent, but maximize. These veterans come back that are disabled. They shouldn't have to wait. They shouldn't have to anything. They should have everything needed to provide for them and get them back as a productive individual into the society as they were productive prior. I'm not saying the exact same job. I mean, after all, a lumberjack who loses a leg is going to have a little difficulty being, but he should be able to get a prosthetic leg, and training to fulfill his lifelong ambitions. And nothing short of that. And a wife and children. The government should be there completely in the place of the husband when the husband doesn't come back. Or the opposite case where it's a woman killed when the mother does not come back. This giving a $200,000 check is not the answer. These people need to be taken care of until they can stand completely on their own, where they can become what they were before. Doesn't mean 2 arms, 2 legs, and all that. It means doing jobs that are compatible to what they had, living a life compatible to what they had, being a sound citizen. There's a lot involved in there. The federal government should not worry about the cost of the returned veteran. The federal government should be worrying about, are they living up to what that veteran had given to this nation? That should be their concern. People shouldn't have to wait. If they're a veteran, for things to get on with their life. A lot of veterans struggle with that, and a lot of them fight, and because they are such strong individuals, have to go a lot of it on their own. Yet, we have the ability to take care of them. And anything short of the maximum effort is robbing them. Anything short. So do I support the veterans? 110%. Do I think our government owes them a debt they cannot be paid? Yes. Now notice that the basis of my whole talking to you people is that I believe the government should be the servant of the people. That's it. Having the veterans, we take people, train them, send them off to war. When they come back, we let them loose? No. We have to be there for them. And we have to, as a government, keep our word to these people. Anything less, and the United States government should be ashamed of itself. It's pretty bad when the government will go out and help the world, yet turn its back on its American citizens, especially those who are there to help the government. So my answer to that lady who asked me, how do I feel about the problems that our disabled veterans are having? I feel it's deplorable. Should it be corrected? Yes. Should the Veteran Administration be complaining about not having enough money? No. Every veteran should be worth more to the federal government than any bombs, missiles, or anything that they're throwing at the enemy. Because without that veteran, they can't. Without that veteran doing his job, without that veteran standing in harm's way. And you might say, no, that's not the case now. Oh, that's not the case. We're not having jet planes flying over Iraq, flying over Syria. Those planes could be shot down. Those pilots could be hurt. We're not having soldiers running around in Afghanistan dealing with the Taliban. We're not having these experiences. No, we are. Every single veteran should be more valuable than any of the weapons we are using. It means you look at that tank that costs us $1 billion. that veterans should be worth more than that $1 billion. You look at that aircraft carrier, several $billions. I'm sorry, each and every man on that carrier should be worth more. Because without them, they're nothing but metal, oil, plastics, all put together that cannot function. The veteran is what makes our military great, and our government needs to understand that and support the veteran from the day he enters the military to the day he dies. Which hopefully is at an old age somewhere down the road, and not while he's in the military. But because of the nature of the job, men are in harm's way, women dodge the bullet, so there will be deaths, then there will be disabilities, and they must be treated as digitally and as importantly as developing a new weapon, because we need to get them back on their feet into society as a productive, strong American that came into the military, and when they're back into society, they need to be just as strong. That's my feeling. That's my answer to your question. How I feel about the veterans. And anything less. And that's the difference between a government to serve the people and a government that the people are the servant. A government the people are the servant. You get disabled, you get sent out of there, no longer do we need you, we can't use you, goodbye, so long. You are a servant to the government. Now you can't do your function, so therefore you are useless. A government that is to serve the people, you are in the military, because you're in the military, you got disabled, it is the government's responsibility to ensure that you can continue with life. Does that mean we have to take money away from somewhere else around the world? It might. Does that mean we have to support the people within the nation moreover than the people throughout the world? It might. Does that mean the UN might get less money from the United States? It definitely will. Does that mean organizations like the World Bank and New World Order has to take second seat to the American individual citizen? You better believe it. Does that mean you, the American individual, matters more than the government? Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. It does. And as president, I'm going to keep my promises, because I just don't like not keeping them. It's not in my nature. It's two things not in my nature. One, money has no value. I mean, if you don't do something with it, it's worthless. It's just nothing. Absolutely nothing. I mean, you could say, oh, you're so many billions. No. You are what you spend, and that's it. Anything more than that is nothing. Zilch. Nothing at all. So money has no value beyond what you can spend. Now, sure, people with a lot less money, they kind of reach their limit, what they could spend, and wish they had more money. People that are super rich, that have all this money that they can't spend, when they die, it's all there and they got to figure out what to do. It's got no value. It's nothing. It's useless. Once you die, all that is gone. It's just gone. You're gone. It's gone. It has no value. Bill Gates has a living expense, for example. I use him as an example. Anything beyond that is useless. It's nothing. Doesn't exist. Oh, a piece of paper says it's this, but truthfully, it's not. It's nothing. When he goes, and let's say his living expense, and he decides he wants to buy another house, now he's got some value. But if you don't buy another house, there's no value. Money sitting around is valueless. Money spent to keep a veteran healthy is well spent. Money spent to ensure that a veteran's in the hospital when he needs to be in the hospital is well spent. Money spent to see that a veteran has a job instead of living in the streets is well spent. Money given to some country overseas, not well spent. Might help some, but if you have people in need in this country, there's a problem there. Have a nice day. Have a nice day. And you veterans know, above all else, I believe in each and every American citizen, and I stand behind and will protect them. But I will never turn my back, ever, on a single veteran. I know what it's like to be deployed. I know what it's like to be away. I know what it's like to feel those pains. I know what it's like to see people dying around you. And I know what it's like to feel the government doesn't care. That I know very well. That was very well drummed into me during the Vietnam era, when we couldn't even wear our uniforms at an airport because somebody would throw some rotten fruit or spit on us or throw something at us. Just because we were in our uniform. Didn't matter what we were doing. So I know it's like to feel the government doesn't care. The country don't care. So veterans know I will always have your back, one way or the other. That's all I can tell you. Okay? And I hope that young lady, I answer her question with this video. I already sent her the write-up that you're going to see attached to this video. I sent to her. You all have a nice day. That is my view on how important the veterans are to us after they serve, not while they're serving. Their serving is very important, and it's very dire, and it is needed. But after they serve is when we, the people, and the government of the United States need to be there for them. That's it. Bottom line. Thank you. Have a nice day. This is JD.